Minnesota SCORE live webinar, first in a series of 4. And we're super excited to bring you Jack Morris tonight. And we're really happy that you all are here. We will have question and answer throughout. If you have questions, please post them in the Q&A throughout the session, and we will respond to them at the end of the session. I'm Paula Biltmore, and I'm working with the Education Committee with the Minnesota SCORE. We're really excited to bring you this webinar series, and wanted to tell you a little bit more about SCORE National and who we are and the services that we provide. Obviously, if you're not familiar with our organization, we do have a nationwide network of mentors and education services for businesses. And this is something that's phenomenal. I was a consultant for 15 years, and the amount of money that I charged to provide these services actually kept my family afloat. So to have this level of mentoring and the level of people that are involved in this organization as a resource to you for free is just phenomenal to me. So if you need mentoring, people like Jack, our mentors with the Minnesota SCORE, definitely connect with us. We have a lot of mentors here in the Minnesota chapter from Fortune 500 companies. If you're looking to grow your business, if you're just starting your business, if you're looking to exit your business, we have folks that have expertise in every regard for your business. So please reach out to us and check back in with us. We're happy to help you in that way. We also want to thank our community partners. Obviously, we couldn't be here without them. We couldn't be providing this level of support to you as a small business. So, definitely want to take a moment to say thank you to them. And also want to thank Jack for coming in and providing us with his services. Jack earned his MBA from NYU. His experience, his resume is just solid. Talking about Fortune 100 companies that he worked with throughout his entire career, helping them with marketing. You couldn't have a more well-versed professional to bring you this information. And on the flip side of this, opportunity to work with him one-on-one in marketing your business. So want to welcome Jack. Again, this is the first in a series of 4 live streams on marketing. So we're super excited to bring this to you. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jack and welcome him onto the floor and thank him again for doing this for us. Jack, on to you.
Okay, thanks, Paula. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Jack Morris, and I'm presenting the first of a series of brand new live stream events brought to you by the Minnesota chapter of SCORE. My presentation tonight is entitled Marketing to Your Target Market. It is an overview of key concepts and processes that should, I hope, tell you about how to more effectively connect your important business with your customers. And that's what the marketing process is all about. Thank you. So, if I'm successful, and I hope to be, let me get this next slide up. Here we go. Excuse us for a second here while my tech expert is going to get me onto this thing. Come on, get up there. Technology. So, if I'm successful with what I told you about providing you with an overview of key concepts and processes, in the next 60 minutes or so, I believe that when we're through, you should have you should have a clear, better understanding of your own business, number one. Number two, you should have a new recognition and appreciation for finding customers who are looking for you. And then number three, I might be able to get you to have a commitment to have an ongoing relationship with research so that you can update all your knowledge about your business and your customers, because both of them are very dynamic, and you need a system and a methodology by which you can reach out and learn more as you go through your business life. Now, this presentation is designed to do a couple of things. Bear with me. These slides that you're going to be exposed to are purposefully brief. I want you to be more engaged with listening to the conversation than reading a whole bunch of text on the slides. So I'm going to help you in that process by keeping them brief, but they will be helpful to you to be able to take the notes and to possibly motivate you to jot down some questions that you are already thinking about asking, because that's a very important part of the end of this presentation, is meaningful feedback from you about what you would like me to expand on or clarify. As to those questions, I believe if you go to the bottom of your screen, you will see a place for you to log in those questions to the Q&A box. And that's the only place you need to go to give me the feedback I need to get to be able to make this presentation better for you. Another aspect of this presentation is we're going to involve 3 areas in the presentation where I want to have some survey work on you. I need to know who you are. That's kind of the marketing in me that wants that. I want to know, you're my target audience for the next 90 minutes. So I need to know who you are. So there's going to be a period of time where some polling questions are going to come up. They are not long-winded. They aren't anything but checking boxes. I can work with that. So if you will do your best to quickly fill out your answers to those, I think there's 2 that are going to come up with Janae's help. And when you check those boxes and submit them, I'll be doing my best to tally what the results are. So basically the benefit is that I will know more about who's out there engaged in this live stream, so that I can tailor a couple of my comments maybe more toward the profile of the audience tonight. 3 introductory, this is kind of what we're doing. This is the agenda for tonight. I'm going to, assuming I'm going to find some SCORE people here, and also some people who aren't active, engaged members of SCORE. I want to spend a brief amount of time introducing you to the SCORE Business Model Canvas. It is the fundamental tool that we use in SCORE to help our clients walk themselves through 9 steps, as you'll soon learn, walk through the 9 steps to be able to end up with the ability to create a meaningful and effective business plan for your business. So I'm going to spend some time engaging you in that. We're also going to go through the obligatory things. After all, this is a marketing live stream. So I want to cover some very important marketing and communication basics for you to learn how to talk about your business. You may know a lot about, you certainly will know a lot more about your business than the SCORE mentors will, but for us to be able to get that conversation going, we need you to be aware of the fact that there's a certain way to look at your business from a marketing lens, if you will, that will help you be more effective in creating meaningful marketing communications to those customers who are looking for you. And then, as I said, lastly, I mean, we're going to engage in various, there's a couple of ways to find customers. There's a couple of tools that you need to be aware of being able to use so that you can get a good head start on figuring out who it is you want to talk to with the newly found language that you've learned how to use through the marketing engagement, and we'll have ourselves a good time. So here we are with this incredible graphic. It is basically a colorful rendition of what the SCORE's business model canvas looks like. You will see that it contains, you can see that there's 9 steps that are involved with completing the business model canvas and therefore being able to construct a meaningful business plan. But tonight we're only going to be dealing with numbers 1 and 2, the introductory phases of the business model canvas. By the way, this I've been a member of this chapter for 4 years, and I've seen basically the growth of the consensus among all the membership that these number 1 and number 2 steps are in fact the entry level areas that you've sort of got to go through to be able to be more effective in going through the balance of the steps of the business model canvas. Tonight, we're talking about numbers 1 and 2. We're going to start with, obviously, number one, the value proposition, which is another way of talking about knowing your company, again, from a marketing perspective. And then we're going to hit the number two, the customer segmentation or the target market. They're pretty much synonymous. And when we're finished with those two areas, you'll be ready for the balance of some of the October live streams that'll coming at you, like possibly steps 3 and 4. And you will be walking through a very good tutorial on how to get a really heads up start on creating a very effective business plan for yourself. Like with any presentation, I'm a big believer in understanding the language that's being used. There are marketing terms, and I think it's important at this time that I sort of go through what is marketing communication. Sometimes they're not the same thing. What is the definition of a target audience or a target market? What does that mean to you? And then lastly, as I told you, I'm going to try to get you engaged in understanding the need for research, but here's what I want you to understand. It really comes in two categories. There's market research and there's marketing research. So maybe you want to make notes about those 5 terms to make sure that I'm clarifying that information as well as possible. Blank screen. So about me. I'm a marketing guy. I've spent 30 years working with various corporations and companies and associations trying to present marketing information. So what is marketing? I think after 30 years, I've been able to take some people tend to talk a lot and come in with a lot of fancy, complicated language, and I tend to think that that may not be right for this meeting. This live screen should be dealing with a really simple thing to embrace. Marketing involves everything connecting your business with your customers, everything. And you're going to say, well, I don't know what that means. And like, yeah, I'm glad you don't know what that means, because I'm about to tell you what that means. By the way, that's me. That's why these are in quotes, so you'll know. This is an overview. There are more than 4 P's of marketing if you read the most current literature. I was born and raised and groomed on 4 P's of marketing, and doggone it, I'm sticking with it, because yes, there are additional ways to talk about defining marketing. For the purpose of this live screen event and the fact that you don't have 4 or 5 days to spend with me, let's keep it to 4 and see where we go with that. Okay, we start with the all-important product or service that your business represents. The product or service, and they are now synonymous. You may have a product, you may have a service, you may be one of those companies that are offering both a product and a service. Regardless of that fact, this is what you're selling. You need to know what that means to you and all the ways to define that product and service so that it is clearly and concisely communicated with your customers. Everything you need to know about your business should be contained in that definition of the physical product or the actual service that you're providing. Here comes another one that gets kind of tricky at this point. I'll try to keep it simple by telling you price is really a function of 2 things that you have some control over and one that you need to be aware of and respect. Price is a function of your costs and your profitability. That should be about it, right? But it's not, okay? Price and your profitability are what you want. The issue that is important is, what do your customers want? Of course, they want to know what the price is, but they also want to know, what is the value of doing business with you? What is that product and service going to be to me? You've got the price. Do I understand that's a good price, an attractive price, a price that I want to actively, pay for, or is it going to be different? So what you need to write down on your notes while we're dealing with the topic of price is the concept of value. Value is a determination by your customers. Now it's out of your control. Value is the determination by your customers of the relationship between the price you're asking and the quality of the product or service you are offering. You do it. You do it every day when you go shopping. whether it's at Publix or at Home Depot or buying an airline ticket, you are going through that very same equation of combining the product with the price to come up with some decision on your part as to whether it represents an attractive buying opportunity. Cost, profitability, value. How do we learn about customer value? You're doing your research and finding out how they feel about the value of the combination that you're offering them. This used to be, back in the day, a very simple thing to talk about. Where is your product found? You know, what's the place? It's changed radically in the last couple of decades. So it's no longer a box that you have, that you are operating out of, and you have a store, and you're a mom and pop operation, and you're located on Fruitville Road. So that's your place. Well, now it's changed a little bit. Now you might have a business that you may have a business that will require you to be in a fixed location. I've got clients of mine who are in that very same situation. Their place is very obvious. They have an address, a street address. So, but it's going to get a little more complicated. What if your product or a service is being sold to a chain of stores where they are now in multiple locations? So place becomes a larger thing than just one location. It becomes many locations, even though we're still talking about a lot more boxes. And now with the internet, we've got the electronic store. We've got the ability for your customers to find you either on your website or through Amazon or through all of the other buying opportunities that they can utilize and are utilizing in significant numbers these days. They're using the internet to buy your product. They're using the internet to acquire your service. So place becomes a pretty complicated thing to deal with. You got to deal with it. You got to figure out, how are you intending to take your business and offer it to your consumers? And where's the marketplace where they all come together? The last one, the one we're going to spend a little bit more time on, and that's promotion. You want to take your pen and maybe might write the word promotion down, put an equation next to it, and say communication. Because that's what marketing communication is essentially going to be, at least for the purpose of this overview. It is the way you communicate your product with the price and the place. You communicate all those things to your prospective target audience so that they can make a decision about whether or not you're the one they want to do business with. So promotion becomes telling people about yourself in such a way that it is motivating them and engaging them to take the steps to come visit you and buy from you. So promotion becomes a communication process, developing the words and putting them into thoughts and phrases and paragraphs and pages on your website where you are communicating to your target audience things that are motivating them to act and buy from you. Don't get worried. This could be the busiest slide you'll be confronted with. Don't be afraid. It's basically an overview. It's basically telling you what's coming up. Remember, I told you we were going to be dealing with key concepts and processes. Well, here we are at the marketing communication process. Now, what is this thing that I'm presenting to you? It's my thing. I use this with each and every one of my clients when I take them through the steps to develop their marketing communications. I think it works. I would have to have, if I had some testimonials to share with you, I would utilize that. But this process works for me and my clients. I have no doubts that it at least has a fighting chance of working for you too. So here's what I'm talking about. Remember, I said it's a process. That's why I've numbered these things. You start with number one and you go on down. So what we start with is you conducting an internal investigation of your own company. I've got the initials SWOT on there, which you may be familiar with that way of self-evaluation. It's called a SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Don't get all jiggy on me on this thing. We're talking about only the S involved in the SWOT analysis. I only want you to investigate for the process of developing your marketing communications. All I need you to do is focus on the SWOTs or the SWOT S's as you begin your marketing communication process. So you're going to be assembling the S words. I've had some clients who have actually had their businesses for several years, and they can give me a basket full of S words, all kinds. I mean, I can do that and they can do that. And so they are very knowledgeable and familiar with what they perceive to be, or what they know to be, the strength words that describe their business. For those of you who are maybe thinking about your business is still in the conceptual stage or in the very preliminary steps, you may not have a basket full of S words, but you should have a pretty good idea of what the strengths are that you have in the business concept that you're putting yourself into, that you're aligning yourself with. The S words. I think it's an interesting thing to try then, assuming maybe we end up with 20, 30, 40 S words. Well, that's a lot of S words to try to figure out how to do a couple of things with them. So I go to step 3 with my clients, and with you if you so choose, and try to take and categorize those S words into meaningful segments. Spoiler alert on that. Many of my clients use the same S words for multiple categories, and that's all cool. That works just fine. In fact, that enhances our ability to respect that particular word and its multi-valued use. So we then go into categorizing the S words into various categories. We'll talk about that momentarily. And then we go through the process of translating some of those S words. And I'll go in and explain that a little bit later, but some of those S words that you come up with from a marketing standpoint might need to be massaged a little bit and might need to be reevaluated, look at them from a different perspective. And that's what the marketing process is all about. Taking those S words from you and making sure we're coming out of them with S words that your target audience respects and likes. From all this stuff, I expect you will be able to find that you'll be developing marketing communications like phrases, slogans, sentences, web page comments, maybe even a mission statement for your company, and the all-important, all-powerful elevator pitch, which if you want to make a note to yourself to have me explain that a little bit to you after the presentation, I'd be more than happy to define the elevator pitch. But you know kind of what it means. If you're in an elevator with somebody and they've asked something about you, this is giving you 30 seconds to talk about your company in a meaningful way. You sure you're going to do it right? So that's what we're going to try to do, get you to do it right. I told you about the 4 Ps. You start with your 4 Ps. Remember I talked about product, price, place, and promotion? Well, start with the 3, product, price, and place, and then you do that SWOT analysis. Find the strength words that fit into those 4 Ps. What are the strengths of your product or service? What are the strengths of your price or prices? It could be plural. It could have several prices. What is the strength of your place? Are you convenient? Are you going to be a place where they have to work very hard? The customers are going to have to work very hard to reach you? Well, okay, let's talk about that a little bit. Focusing on the S information, on all these things with the 4 Ps in your SWOT analysis. Again, I'm just telling you again, SWOT. You can go to the internet, by the way, and go put SWOT on a search, and you'll come up with all kinds of explanatories, some of which are excellent for you to do to get a better understanding of why the SWOT analysis is it's a fundamental tool in business, especially in marketing, to be able to begin the process of figuring out where do we go to become competitively successful. Remember I talked about that process about we're going to categorize those S words that you've come up with? Listen, here's a suggestion as to how you might want to think about organizing that. It's pretty simple. I've done it with my clients exactly this way. Why don't you put it under which S words fall under a description of who you are? What kind of business are you in? S words that explain that. S words that talk about how you do your business, what we do. Are we a service? What is that service? Is it a product? What we do is are the sizes and shapes and flavors and colors. What we do is develop products and services to meet your needs. What are the S words that represents? Last one, not a coincidence that's in bold, it's why we're important. What are those S words that start separating you from the competition, or you feel are meaningful enough for you to get the customer to really start paying attention? as to those are the words that get customers to react and then act. And that's what you want. So that third category is relatively more important than the other two, but don't ignore the other two because they will help. You're gonna have a website, right? And it's gonna have several pages on that website. Hey, think about the pages as evolving through the who we are, what we do, and why we're important. That'd be my table of contents for your web page. Once we've done that process, I hope you're still with me, those 4 steps coming through here. We've got our S words, we've categorized them, we've emphasized them where they belong. What we're looking for is a magical kind of thing in marketing, and it's called the USP. And those 3 initials stand for a unique selling proposition. It's a really great phrase. Most SCORE mentors sit up in their chairs when they hear that phrase. It's that kind of a thing. A unique selling proposition is exactly what it says. It's competitively unique. It's a selling or a motivational piece of communication. And the proposition is, how do you find us? Where are you going to get us? How are you going to take advantage of the opportunity we're giving you? The USP is the fundamental, goal of the marketing communications. It's not one thing. It doesn't have to be one thing. It maybe shouldn't be one thing. Maybe there's a USP for each of the pages on your website. What's the USP for who we are? What's the USP for how we do things or what we're into? You definitely want a UPS for what's important about us. Those categories I was talking about. Fundamentally, what you're trying to do with the USP is you're trying to find those words that you combine together to create those communications or expressions that do this. They identify both the strongest and most meaningful statements that represent who you are, that represent your business. Strongest is competitive. It's stronger, strongest, but meaningful's a customer word. Meaningful is, yeah, I want that. Meaningful is you've somehow tapped into something that gets your customers motivated. So now we're back to the process. We're going to be into translating. Remember, we talked about gathering the S's, categorize them. Once you've categorized them, then you've got your S's all in their nice little homes. And now we're going to go after each and every one of those words and evaluate whether they are in need of translation. I'll make up an example of a client who's got a business where they're extremely proud of the fact that they produce a product, and that product's an electronic product. And they are so glad that their electronic product has heavier gauged wiring in it to be able to allow speedier, faster, more fidelity in the pictures. They have a better quality product because of the thickness and the gauge of these wires. The wires, they're all about the wires, like, yeah, congratulations on the wires, and I get it. But the customer, they may be a little bit lost on your enthusiasm about the wires in your box. So what they're looking for is something very simply said. It's a little bit cynical, but aren't customers cynical anyway? So what you want your customers are asking every time you talk to them, what's in it for me? You might ask that. You may know enough about that phrase to be asking it yourself. You're telling me all this stuff, but tell me what I really need to know that makes me happy, that makes my life better, that saves me money. What's in it for me? What are you doing to make me change from whatever I've been doing to now moving over toward your company with its product or service? What are you doing that makes me have to want to change? What's in it for me to want to do that? People don't want to change. They like habits. Habits are easy. But what you're trying to do with your new business is you're trying to interfere or interrupt a habit. And that habit needs to be broken through the use of user benefits or customer benefits. And that's the translation you need to do. So, okay, sometimes this translation process requires a lot of back and forth and give and take. I've worked with a client who actually was 4 clients. They were all partners in a business that they wanted to open up. They wanted to open up a box. And in that box, they wanted to do the following things. So I had four clients you better believe I had plenty of S words to deal with. Now is the issue here is how can I meaningful help them translate those S words into things that their customers want to hear. And clients become four opinions about almost each and every word, but the process is worth it. The translation process is worth it because what's coming out of that negotiation between features and benefits is a stronger marketing communication, one that's going to attract your clients and move them toward attract your customers and move them to being your customers quicker, faster, better, and more often. How's that for a promise? But that translation's the key. How do you translate stuff? For those of you out there who aren't yet SCORE members, you can do that. I mean, you get together with a couple of friends that you trust and respect as knowledgeable about your business and everything. You can go through that translation process. I do think it's an opportunity to maybe persuade you to think about joining SCORE, because once you're in SCORE as a client, you then get a mentor assigned to you, and they themselves can assign other mentors to team up. And now you've got a crew of mentors helping you out. And that's how you get through the translation process. Maybe I wouldn't say necessarily quicker, but I will say better. You'll be able to get business experts talking to you about your business and being able to assist you in that communication translation that you do need to make. You don't want to be talking about wires to your customers. They don't want to hear it. The benefits that you come up with, all those translated things that you've come up with, you would then go through the process of ranking their importance. I sort of ranked that for you when I did you the categories back in a couple of slides ago about why are you important. Yeah, the stuff that ends up in that category tends to have a higher rank than the ones in the others, but not to their detriment. And they're all important. They just have a time and a place to be used. So ranking those S words on those customer benefits is an important thing to know, because you want to start from your strengths. You want to start from the strongest things you can say. Most of you understand the precious commodity of time and how little of it people are willing to spend on almost anything, you know? So you need to get your point made clearly, concisely, and powerfully. And this can help. This can help. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler alert of what might be coming down the road at some of the live streams events later on this month. You're going to take all that incredible work you've done, and it is incredible work, collecting those S words, categorizing them, translating them. Now you've got precious S words that are now user benefit words, and now you're so ready to proceed into using the internet effectively, because an important term in the internet, social media, is search engine optimization. They're looking for words from you that help you more effectively punch through that internet and make your marketing communications more meaningful and effective. Well, you've already done most of that work yourself when you went through this process with your marketing communications. So this work up front is going to save you time in the back end, you know, because now you're going to spend less time working on that internet communication because you've already got this basket full of powerful S words already developed. 2 case studies for you. I'll do them quickly, but I'll show you how this kind of works out there on the street, in the stores, on the street, with a product, which I've conveniently chosen Colgate Toothpaste. It's a wonderful product. What is it about Colgate? If I had a client coming at me and they had a toothpaste that they wanted to introduce, I thought I have a really good idea. And we went through the SWOT analysis and we did all the process, and yeah, this thing might work. So let's talk about this. Well, I flip over a tube of Colgate toothpaste, and this is what I see, you know, in their ingredient statement. And it's a very fancy word that I can never, this would have kicked me out of a spelling bee in a New York minute. But in any case, this is what Colgate toothpaste, very proud to have in their toothpaste, monofluorophosphate. Whoopee, you know, but the customer doesn't want to know that. What do they want to know? What does this stuff mean to me? That's a user benefit. I use Colgate toothpaste, and their ingredient in there, monofluorophosphate, that's as many times as I'm going to pronounce it. I'll screw up the fourth time, I guarantee you. This gives you cavity protection. This is a product that does its thing and makes your teeth stronger and more resistant to any kind of things that might cause cavities. So far, so good. What's up? Well, now, spoiler alert on this. I'm not Colgate, and I'm not telling you you see this on a toothpaste. But bottom line is the consumer is making that benefit. If I'm having fewer cavities, I don't have to go to the dentist as often. I should go, but I mean, I don't have to go because my mouth hurts, you know? So if I'm using this product with this ingredient and protecting my teeth against cavities, I'm probably going to have fewer dental visits over a period of time. They chose to use mint. That's no surprise. I think most of the toothpaste we have, they mint, but you know, so if what is the consumer really giddy about mint? You know, it could be worse. Somebody as the president of the company might have opted for tobacco flavored or licorice, and you and I both know, not a good idea. So the thing about mint flavor, it's pleasant to have in your mouth, it's pleasant to use. You know, I feel good. But, you know, another thing about that, I can leave the house confident that I'm socially acceptable and that I have a nice minty flavor as I speak with people. And yes, that's important. Social security, in this case, is an important benefit to using something that's flavored nicely, and Colgate is. See what we're doing here? We got the client talking this, features, and what we're trying to get them to do is translate that stuff over into benefits that the consumer is like, yeah, I get it. I want that. I want that. I want that benefit. I don't know if I want that, but I know I want that. Well, they're the same thing with a marketing lens applied to them, and they're translated. I love this company. Okay. Uber comes up. Why do I love this company? I lived in Atlanta. When I had to go from point A to point B, like the airport to a hotel, back in the day, I had to use a taxi in Atlanta. Not good. It was usually a random thing. You know, I had no idea who was showing up and what they were showing up in. I had no idea. And it was basically an adventure. It wasn't a cab ride. It was an adventure, and not necessarily one that I was all excited and happy about. Here along comes Uber. Now, some of you may be so young that you don't remember a world before Uber. I just explained to you it was not a good world. Along comes Uber, and they come up with a business concept, and they talk about how exciting it is. This is an electronically managed transportation system. And the consumer or the target audience for this is going, yeah, right? They haven't said anything to get them to act on it. So think, I'm sure some of you have been out there using Lyft or Uber or anything similar to that. You understand what electronically managed means. You can think about what I'm about to post up there. And if you're right, good for you. User convenience. This thing's coming when I want, my transportation's coming when I want it, how I want it, and I want to make sure that I understand that this is going to be something I can trust and something that will provide me with a quality transportation experience. And by the way, there's a good chance it's going to cost me less than that adventure I had an option of using. Electronically managed involves user trust. You know that. You've used this stuff. You know the bio of the driver coming at you and their collective ranking as to how well they've satisfied customers. Usually Uber will say goodbye to those Uber drivers that don't meet their standards for quality transportation. So you know that these drivers that show up have at least got a reasonably good chance of giving you a very good experience with no adventure other than maybe some interesting conversation. They use contract employees. What does that mean? We use contract employees. Well, I'm not sure that maybe I understand that, but probably I don't. And so what does this all, what do you, I don't want to say, if I'm Uber, I do not want to put contract employees in my marketing communication. This is what I want to put in: quality control. These people have passed my hiring requirements. These people have shown economic stability. They are not homeless people riding cars. They have met Uber's standards for the quality of the car they own, not are using. They own these cars, or they lease them. You know, that they're their cars, and those cars have to be reasonably new. That sounds like quality control to me. Also, contract employees are motivated. They're ranked. You get through with your ride, you give them an evaluation. And with that, you might be so inclined to give them a tip, and that tip will probably be commensurate with the kind of quality you received from them. Were they personable? Were they friendly? Were they knowledgeable about where you wanted to go? Were they knowledgeable about the town? Yeah, this sounds like a winner to me. So you've got these features. They're very powerful features. These are extremely motivational benefits. Now, this may be a good time to take a chance and say, if you haven't already got a couple of questions sort of in the scripting or drafting stage, maybe you should be thinking about that, because this marketing communication segment of the presentation is about ready to be over. And if something's going on here, elevator pitch, one of the things that were talked about, you might want a little bit more elaboration or some clarification of that. The Q&A is the way to get that done, because I'm moving on. We're moving into step 2 in the business model canvas. We're going to talk about your target market. That's a feature. What you want to know is, I want to find customers, people with cash money, and who are going to be willing to listen to my story, make a decision, and possibly be a paying customer. So let's proceed into that process. Who are they and where are they? Aren't those the two fundamental questions? Okay. Once again, if your product is sold out of a box, and that box means a location or an address, this is very important information, because if you're in a geographic location, where are the customers who are meaningfully and conveniently located near you or the stores you sell to find your product? You got to know where your business is and where your customers are. That's a geographic determination. What zip codes are important to you? The next one is demographics. That may be a word you're familiar with. It's a word you actually may be physically involved in, because this is the type of information that our United States government is currently asking you to fulfill in the surveys or the census that goes in. The census is going on right now as this presentation is being presented, and it's basically a piece of research to determine who lives in this country by these determinations. We need to know who our population is by age, gender, income, nationality, occupation, ethnicity, and et cetera, et cetera. The government wants to know a lot. They want to know about who you are and what you're doing, so that they can do a better job of governing. It is supposed to be for the citizens' benefit, and it is. You as a business owner need this stuff. You need to know, does your product or service have a skew toward certain age groups? Are you selling or offering your service to senior citizens or retirees? Are you into people in their maximum income generation? Are you looking at people in their mid-30s and 40s that are at their peak earning area? What about, and the income thing is also important. Is your product or service going to require, is it going to be thought of as an essential thing or something? Wouldn't it be nice if I could have this kind of thing, which usually implies they need to have a level of income that allows them that kind of decision making, where they can slide some money across to purchase what you're offering without it interfering with those essential and fixed things that they have to do in their lives. So income's very important. Nationality, occupation, ethnicity, the more demographics you're confident about knowing about your customers, the better the quality of your communication. So the more you know about finding your customers, the more your communication will be effective in helping you sell. Excuse me, let me go back one time. I have to make a reference to something. Bear with me. These aren't the only two fundamental ways of looking at it. These are the ones I've chosen because remember, this is an overview. You want to get into an advanced section of marketing, profiling. Then we get into things that involve psychographic profiling. Psychographic. Sounds complicated. It kind of is. So I wanted to deal with the things that you could begin doing yourself if you were so inclined as to finding those customers. You get into things that are somewhat sophisticated like psychographic, you might need some help. Now, I'm not saying a SCORE mentor couldn't be that help, but you might need some help otherwise. If that kind of information, psychographic, you look it up in the dictionary or look it up on Google, you get a better idea of what it means, but not for now. I can deal with that once you have a mentor or once you get into that situation where that's an important thing for you to spend time exploring. Okay, now we're into pie. I inherited this slide, and at first I thought it was kind of corny and pie. I mean, really? But then it was explained to me, as I'm about to explain to you, and I was like, doggone it, this is pretty interesting. You have a business. Your business sells a product. Your product and service are sold to these people. They are not the same person. The person, they could be any one of three people who are influencing the decision to buy from your business. Obviously, the purchasers up front, they're the ones paying for it when they buy it. So they're the ones with the money. But were they the ones that were solely responsible for deciding to do business with you? No, there are people in back of them. There are influencers and end users who would be telling them, advising them, hounding them, nagging them to make the purchase that they're going to make. So pie represents the fact that this target audience thing's a little complicated. I had two examples that I think are really good examples that I can just kind of quickly talk you through. One is Disney World, right down the road in Orlando. Who's the purchaser for a ticket to Disney World? When I presented this question in an in-class seminar, which I've done, most of the people correctly, it's the female head of household. It's mom. Mom buys where everybody's going to go on vacation. So she makes the purchase. Does she do it on her own without asking the other members of the family or the other members of the household that she lives in? And the answer is absolutely not. Move right down to the influencer, and who would those folks be in that household with mom, dad, and the kids? It's the kids. Not only are the influencer, that whole thing is, you should have increased the type size to make it more reflective of their importance. No, they are going to be immensely important to the purchaser's decision making. Let's see, have we left anybody else out who's going to Disney World that wasn't an influencer, but is very important to the purchaser? So the stereotypical profile would fit to dad. What's dad gonna do while everybody's enjoying Disney World? Well, dad might wanna know if there's a couple of convenient golf courses nearby, or how good's the pool? How good are the restaurants in the area for him to, so there's gonna be some needs from the end users, to influence the purchaser's decision to make sure it's one that's going to be appealing to everybody in that group. Now, let me quickly go to a business-to-business situation. You may have a business that's going to be selling products or services to other businesses. Perfect thing here. The purchaser is the buying agent for that customer business, but they're going to be buying on behalf of the people that may be actually using the product. You're selling a tool to a company that is a machine shop or makes and assembles things. That purchaser is going to buy the specific tools that they need for the company, but the end user is the one who's making the demands on what the specs are for the product. And so that's really important in a business-to-business thing. Pie works in both a consumer and business environment very well as a way for you to explore finding out about your target audience from this lens or this perspective. You put all this stuff together in a nice little graphic and you end up seeing the cumulative effect of all of the influences that go into it is located right there, dead center, and that's how the sale is made. The sale is made because of the three populations that are influencing what the purchaser is going to end up actually doing and spending their money on. If you know who's involved, as it says in the book, in a way that allows you to market your company's product or service more efficiently and effectively, who's to say Disney World type people, hot restaurant type people, hospitality type people, that you're going to have a separate marketing communication for influencers and maybe a separate marketing communication for the end users? This is how sophisticated your marketing communication plan can be. Where are more customers? Don't we always look for more customers? Yeah, we do. So here's 3 more ways of looking at finding your customers. You're a business. You're already here. You got existing customers. Nicely done. You've got some actual walking, talking people that spend money with you. How much money? How often are they visiting with you? Are you giving them an opportunity to come visit you or purchase from you more frequently? Are they buying everything that they need from you? Do you have other products or services, that can be of help to them? Yes, they've just bought you as a window cleaning business for your home, but what if they also had an ability to clean your driveway? So these existing customers that you have, by communicating effectively to them, you can get them to come visit you and shop with you more frequently, ka-ching, or you can get them to buy other secondary items that you also offer for sale to them because they're already doing business with you. How convenient is it now for them to be doing something a little bit extra? So existing customers, are people you have to seriously look at. You know them well enough to know what their needs are and how those needs reflect on how they could be a bigger existing customer than they currently are. Then the next one is you've gone through your work on your perspective, on who are people that should be buying from you. Your existing customers like you, 4 Ps, way of defining how they like you, because you'll learn that through research. But are the prospective customers not aware of the fact that you've got unique selling propositions that might appeal to them if you said things a little bit differently? So prospective customers are customers who should be with you but aren't currently. This is a huge challenge for you. They want to buy from you, but they don't know who you are and what you do and why you're important. Remember those categories of your S words? So that's how you're going to convert people to being possible customers, because they meet all the requirements, the demographic, the geographic, all those requirements qualify them as being prospective customers. All you got to do is convert. I'm not trying to be flippant. I'm just trying to say you need to convert them. Well, now you have a way and a plan to be able to do that. So it's just a function of getting it done. Hey, and by the way, here's a little snoopy thing you could be doing. I don't know if you're going to be in a situation here, but how, you have competition, and probably who the primary competition is that you're going to end up going nose to nose against when you're asking somebody to buy from you. They're probably already buying, from that other operator, so who are they? Where do they live? What are their demographics? How are you expected to know that? Well, there are ways to do that. You could pick up is this competitor a chain? Is the chain a public company? A public company has to issue an annual report, and they talk glowingly about all the good stuff they have to talk about, their business. And in that are going to be information about their customers and what they're planning on doing in the future to get more customers. Well, shouldn't you piggyback on their intelligence to see how much of that can you use to figure out how to borrow a few customers and keep them as yours? Research. Okay, so we've gone through business model canvas. We've gone through marketing, 4 Ps, marketing communications, the S process, the 4-step S process. We're in consumer benefits. We've gotten all this stuff. How are we doing? How are you doing? If you're an existing business, how are you doing? Do your customers like you? Remember we talked about existing customers? What do you know about them? What do they like about you? What do they don't particularly like about you, but they buy from you anyway for whatever reasons? In other words, they're people you could lose. If they're not really liking you, then they are available to leave you, and you don't want that. So how do you find out who your strong customers are and who your not so strong customers are? Where are they? How do you know who they are? Are they giving you any kind of information as they buy from you? Are they filling out any kind of survey that you're providing them as to tell them where they live, what they're doing, what they like, dislike, what they wish you did more of? Additional products, different sizes, different shapes, whatever your business is. Are they looking for another version of what you're selling them? Holy smokes, this research is wild. It's giving you your product development and your marketing development, plans. Getting your existing customers to tell you about their likes and dislikes is critically important. You need to know what their websites are so you can contact them about specials that you want to offer. You need to know about them. Are you doing an adequate job of capturing their information? Either filling out a card if they're in your box, or if they're filling out something on the website, or in a post-purchase survey that you're doing from them. You need to research your existing customers. Now you need to know about what's going on around my business. What's my environment like? What should I be doing? External, internal. Oddly enough, we're going to be getting into exactly those two things. You need to have confidence that what you know about your business is the truth and is the best knowledge possible. You don't want to be using older information to support what it is you're doing, because the dynamics may have changed where that's no longer meaningful or valuable to you. You got to know what you know. And the only way to do that is get some kind of research that confirms what you know. That's very important. To basically, it's a thumbs up that you're doing just fine, keep it up. It's also important for you to discover what you don't know. What do you wish you knew more about? Well, that's what research is all about. This is discovering what you don't know, but you should know, because you need that missing information to be able to do your marketing communications better. So it's all about researching your business, your customers, your competition, that kind of stuff. I think this phrase, situational analysis, might have come out of the military. And when you look at situation analysis in the military, you can kind of see the logic that probably was a very important thing for somebody who's in combat to know what's going on. Yeah, it's a life and death thing. So situation analysis is very important in the military. This also became something that the management consultants started using when they started dealing with corporations and everything, to get the business people in that business to understand what's going on around my business. It's a dynamic thing. What's going on? How do we fit relative to the competition? What is our SWOT? How can we validate that SWOT's accurate? Situation analysis, in some ways, can be a SWOT that's applied to your customers, to figure out what they think. It's not what you think anymore. We already did that partially, and you'll be doing that in an internal investigation. This SWOT's researching your customers to figure out what they think your strengths, weaknesses, what they think the opportunities are to do more business with you, and what they think might keep them from continuing their relationship with you, either in the absolute or relatively. A SWOT analysis aimed at your customers is what we're going after with our research. It comes in two forms. Market research. Let me see. Yeah, research and marketing research. Both of these are designed to research and find and know your customers. Two ways to do that. So, okay, you understand you need to know your customers. You might need to know where, a good idea of what their profile is, demographic, geographic. I know I need customers, so how do I actually go start finding them? Step one in your research undertakings, now that I'm sort of hopefully getting you to commit to needing research, it's right there at your local library. I think there's two opinions. One is, hey, maybe I can go to the library on the internet. Yeah, you probably can. I can also go to the library I can also go to the library physically by visiting the library. Let me deal with the second one. If you are a member of a library or think it's important for you to become a member of a library, I kind of like the idea of talking to somebody knowledgeably about what they have as far as information that I would like to know how to easily and conveniently and effectively access. That's who I am. I like somebody talking to me. So I would go to a library, like I'm encouraging you to go to your local library. By the way, it'd really help if you were a member. But when you go there and you go to the reference desk, there's always a reference desk in a library. The person behind there is your personal contact to the information that's contained in the library about the target audiences that you're trying to identify for your business. You can do all that on the internet too. And I know that I'm probably not doing as much as I should on the internet, but you've got a local library catalog of information. Look at all this menu of stuff. But two things that I need you to be aware of when you see this thing will pop up on your computer if you go to your local library's website. But what I want you to be aware of, that line item there is demographics now. You should already know that demographics now should be meaningful to you, because that's profiles by age, income, geography, zip code. Demographics sounds like a good idea to start with. You kind of have a fairly good idea of your demographic information. Here's where to find out where those places are in the area where you live. Let's say it's Sarasota County, Minnesota. Maybe you're actually tuning in to this live stream from somewhere outside of this area, or maybe from out of state. Who knows? Welcome. You have a local library. They have this stuff. This stuff is going to be, you get after this demographic stuff, you'll be in real good shape. Mergent Intellect. This is a site in your local library's website that you can go to. Mergent Intellect is how things combine. How do you get the geography and the geographic and the demographic to come together, and you can start combining things to see where the largest populations exist that you've identified as your target audience. I would be more comfortable if I had somebody walking me or talking me through going into that Mergent Intellect site. If I was kind of cold to what the library is used for, I would probably be more comfortable, personally speaking, I would be more comfortable in getting a resource person to walk me through the Mergent Intellect. But hey, if you're adventurous and tech savvy and all those things you are, then go look for yourself and learn that way, as many people are doing. But I'm telling you, you can learn more about the library, from the library, about your business and its customers than you would ever have thought until you tried it. Okay. Library, market research. Put an equal sign next to those, and you'll be doing very well from this webinar. Marketing research. It doesn't exist unless you make it exist. So when you do marketing research, you're doing research that is exclusively yours. No one else is going to be doing the research you're doing, with give or take. I mean, there's competition doing research, but this research is customized just for you. It's going to find information that you determine you want to learn. So it's exclusively yours. Only you can create it. And the answers you're going to get are going to be dependent on the quality of the questions you ask. You might need some help from a person who's fluent in marketing research to be able to do that. Remember, we're talking about the S words and your marketing. Same thing goes with research. The better the quality of the question, the better the quality of the results that question will generate. So this might be an opportunity for you to kind of make a note to yourself. I want to do this, but I think I might need some help doing it. Marketing research usually is something that can cost money. You're going to be spending money to buy a service that was going to give you the capability of talking to hundreds, perhaps thousands of people. That's really neat. I can get thousands of people to talk to me and give me information that I need. Well, sometimes you don't need to do that. You can do your own research. We just talked about the idea of customer comment cards and website surveys and purchase some kind of website response mechanism where you can get, for relatively low or no cost, other than your time, you can get started on doing valuable marketing research, but it's going to require that you be, I would again go to your ability to bring in somebody who might have done that before in their life, so they can get you through some of the obstacles or challenges that are going to help you do things efficiently and effectively. Marketing research. It involves doing surveys. You might have gone to the mall and you've been, somebody's come up to you and said, you have a few minutes to answer a couple of questions. Somebody's paying them to go do that survey work. So doing surveys, you can do surveys on the internet. I think there's a thing called SurveyMonkey that is a business set up for you to be able to do online surveys. Interviews, if you have a box, or if you're able to go to those stores that are selling your products, you might be able to allow them to do some customer interviews with people that are shopping in the store. Questionnaires, these are all various ways for you to gather information. It's all dependent on the amount of time you want to put in, and to some degree, are you willing to fork out a little money to have somebody do a lot of the legwork for you and get you the results back in a very at a professional level. But I don't want to scare you away from doing it on your own. You can very effectively do it on your own, at least to get started during the initial parts of developing your business. So the bottom line here is we've got this thing, this relationship. Remember marketing? Marketing is everything that connects your business with your customers, and research is a way for you to do that on an ongoing basis. You're learning, they're feeding back information, you're getting smarter, you ask them smarter questions, they feed back. There's new customers, you want to talk to them. So this is a dynamic that goes back and forth. But guess what else? This is able to allow you in your marketing relationships to develop the communications that you need to deliver what you're selling in a meaningful way to your customers. And the research is going to keep that current, effective, and accurate and meaningful, because you're going to continually be asking the customers, what else do you want? What else do you need? And your communications are going to react to that if you want to make those kind of changes and alterations to your business. So this thing back and forth between these two is really what I'm trying to encourage you to understand. For you to have an ongoing communication connection with your customers and an equally ongoing research program to make sure that you're current on your understanding of what's going on here. Getting close to the end, so hold on here. Don't leave me yet. Still got stuff to do. Marketing communication. Thought you were done with that. Well, you're not. So here's something to help you better understand how to take all those marketing communications from all those S words you developed and figure out communications that move your customers logically and productively through the process where they eventually end up being a customer. Remember we talked about, prospective customers? Those are people that don't yet know about you. You don't need to convert them into customers. Here's how you do that, through the process that's identified as AIDA. Get their attention. You say something very important up front. Don't you do that anyway socially when you're meeting with people and everything? Get their attention, who you are, what you do, all that stuff, interesting facts about you. Get a conversation started. Get their attention. Hey, that was an intention. Never mind. So you use a device to get their attention. You can do it pictorially, do it with words, do it in combination. Get their attention that you're talking about them, about something important. Sometimes saying, hey, I'm about to tell you something important. I've got a great way for you to save money. There's all kinds of ways to get people's attentions without actually saying you're introducing your business yet. But sooner or later, once you've got their attention, the clock is ticking, and you'd better hold them to something that'll keep them there. Because what you want to do is you want to have a conversation with these people, which means you've got to get them interested enough in you to want to say something to you. Okay, so you get their attention, some attention getting device. You tell them something meaningful to them that stops them. I've got a great way to save money on your car insurance. I know, I just made that up. It's brilliant. But it's the whole idea of, my policy is coming due, or last time I had an accident, I didn't really like the way they treated me during that Yeah, I've just told them something meaningful about something in their lives that they want to have a better solution to. You continue talking to them in your marketing communications and keep providing them with those USPs about who you are, what you do, and why you're important. You keep loading them up with these USPs that are building more importance in the communication. And now they're saying to themselves something to the tune of, hey, I need to get one of those. Hey, I need to buy one of those. Hey, I need that now because I need that now. That's really neat. Yeah, I need that. Hey, that's new. I don't have anything that will do that. So I need that. Nice work. Your communications have developed a desire in a target audience that could be and should be your paying customer. We're missing something here, right? You're saying, wait a minute, you're missing an A, Jack. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm waiting for you to kind of say, what do we do here? Doggone it. You know, there's an old country phrase that a guy once told me that it was just a great phrase. And it was a thing. It's a long way from the cup to the lip. And I know that sounds all homey and colloquial and all that stuff. But yeah, if you're holding a beverage, it's a lot different than actually enjoying that beverage, because there's still some ways that you could interfere with that. Somebody's Frisbee could have knocked that out of your hand and now you don't have a beverage, you know? So the issue here is, how do I convert that desire to action? I want you, says them to you. Yeah, I want that. Well, tell them how to get it, and tell them that it's on sale, or tell them that there's a limited quantity left for them to have, or tell them that we've got somebody on the phone working 24 hours a day, and they will answer your question about the product and take your order on there. Or if you're on Amazon, gives you a very simple way to spend all of your money with them. And go ahead and act now. Do you want to buy it now? There's a buy it now key on Amazon. Quit doing all this stuff. I want to buy it. Quit talking. I want to buy something. You've got them to an action mode. Get them there. So that's what the promotional communications are all about. Tell them to stop liking you and start buying from you. And that's what the action phrase is. You need words. You need a promotional incentive to help build them to do that. We'll be in your neighborhood in the next 2 weeks. Can we stop and knock on your door to talk to you about our lawn care service? Yeah. Give them some way where you're going to connect with them quicker so that they can become a customer quicker. AIDA. This is what your communications all build to. By the way, you yourself have been using this all your life. You just never really knew it that way when you've tried to persuade somebody about, in doing something. This is the persuasion technique for doing that, getting the desired results. Well, the desired results for you is revenue and paying customers. Your communications are telling who you are and where to find you, address, website, phone numbers, that stuff, but you're selling the benefits. You're selling the benefits. So where's the emphasis? On selling. You need to tell them quickly all the stuff they need to know on how to stay in contact with you, and then you start hammering away with those USPs and hitting them with the AIDA program. You get them to act on the communications so they become a paying customer. You can do this on your own, gang. You can start doing this on your own. Business cards, flyers, brochures, elevator pitch, those are all things you could do yourself, and you should be doing them. You should already have a business card that doesn't just tell about you, it sells. Do you have a slogan on your business card? On the back of the business card, which may be completely white? What's up with that? You've got an opportunity for a mission statement. You've got an opportunity for USPs, more USPs on that stuff. But the business card should be telling and selling. It should be. Now, it's a small card, so you're not going to do a lot, but get the AID started. Get it started. If you have a logo, you can work on how to symbolically represent the benefits of using your company's flyers and brochures. I just talked with a client the other day about, hey, you have flyers and brochures when you go out and do guest speaking engagements, or you go visit a monthly meeting on some group that is a group that you want to be actively involved with your new company? Go have business cards and flyers and brochures, and the flyers and brochures will address the AIDA, and they'll contain the 4 Ps, and they will be so nice. Those flyers and brochures, be proud of them. You'll develop through your S words, the USP and all that thing, how to deliver a dynamite elevator pitch. Regardless of who's asking the question and where you are to deliver it, you will be able to say, and by the way, I know a lot of clients that have 2 or 3 versions of it, depending on who they're talking to. They have it already it's like embedded in their DNA. They know what to say about themselves in a meaningful way that get a conversation started, networking to try to find where their clients are. Website, there's no way we can't address the website. This is the best graphic. I don't need to spend any time about this. If you don't already know, the website is the sun of your solar system. This is where all your communications should be pushing your clients to be going, your customers, your prospective customers to be going to, because it's the place where all of your business information is contained, hopefully in a very orderly AIDA progressive thing. The product, the price, place, all that stuff's contained in your website in a very orderly way. Now it's your job to develop that website, make sure it's top-notch, top quality, reactive, has a way to interact with customers that access, or with prospective customers that access it. Yeah, it does all of that. Great website, go develop it. And so when you have that website, you're really off and running. And in those live streams coming up behind me, you'll learn all about how to do that correctly. You need a marketing plan. Yes, I know the business model canvas is talking about a business plan. This is a very important chapter of your business plan. It's the annual way you're going to conduct your business according to the 4 Ps of your business. And it's probably the most important chapter you can have. Maybe not I'm a marketing guy. It is. It's a very important chapter in your business plan. I don't need to tell you where to find them. The internet's full of them. Places to go and get great templates on how to design a great and create a great marketing plan. Go to by the way, this is a presentation you can get to as quickly as tomorrow probably, and you can get this stuff. But bottom line, entrepreneur.com or Entrepreneur Magazine, Forbes.com, Forbes Magazine, excellent sites to go to if you want to learn how to write a really, really, really good marketing plan. I'm not a stockholder. I am just a guy who's aware that Google is Google, and Google's getting bigger, and Google's getting better, and Google's getting more relevant to your business. So they're providing a whole bushel of services that you could use. Now, again, I'm not telling you that they're the only place to go to grow your business, but they just seem to have a very interesting way to allow you to effectively grow your business efficiently, one-stop shopping. It's up to you, but I don't want you to ignore the idea this exists out there. You should at least do yourself a favor and explore it to figure out what it can do for you and how it might do things better for you. We're kind of done. At least I'm kind of done. I think Paula's got some other things she needs to. You've got some more work to do, so don't you dare turn your computer off. But Paula's got some to tell you stuff about that. But right now, this is what we kind of did. We did 5 things. It's an overview. Is it a master's degree in marketing and marketing community? Probably not, I hope not. I spent 2 years. Never mind. It's an overview. Join SCORE. Find a mentor. Get them to talk to you about what they can do to help you move through this area as you go through the business model canvas. And who knows, they may elect to bring in a marketing resource to join them in helping you out, and it's all gravy after that. So we've done a lot today. If you're still out there and you're awake and all that stuff, I can't thank you enough, because this is a really fun topic for me to share with you, and I hope you had some fun listening to it. So, hey, there's always something free, right? So we've conveniently allowed you access to some really terrific worksheets to do. You want to figure out how to go about the SWOT process. maybe go on the internet and learn how to do SWOT, but here's a fun sheet, and it's all broken out for you to kind of separate the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that relate to your business. Great way for you to organize your thinking. Same with the 4 Ps. The same worksheet identifies the 4 Ps, fill it out, start working on it, share it with people, and get a better one going, and you'll be working on your marketing communications and having a lot of fun doing it. Paula, I think I'm about done. Am I not?
You are, and thank you so much, Jack. I mean, just so much good information and content rich and very much appreciated. I have a couple of things that I'm going to go over here. Just give me one moment to switch over to sharing my screen with you folks. And, certainly as we look at, Jack's talking about a lot of things here. We have other live streams that are coming up. You don't want to miss out on these that are coming up, all part of this marketing bundle that we've got going on. I've got a couple of quick questions for you, Jack, in the Q&A. So if you've got a second, can we go through those real quick?
Do you also want to pull up the polls now?
Certainly.
Okay. I'm going to pull up the first poll question for
Okay,
everyone.
great. So if you folks could just answer the poll question there that's on your screen, and we can get some results there and some stats for us to help us in refining our process. We greatly appreciate that.
We'll give them a few more seconds and then.
Great, thanks, Janae. Greatly appreciate that. So Jack, a couple more of the questions that folks had, if you wouldn't mind answering some of the Q&A. We had a couple of really good questions. One of them was with regard to the S words, and there were 2 questions regarding that. Maybe please explain a little more on the S process. Are the S words only words, or can they be short phrases? Could you give some samples?
Is my audio on?
It is. Yep, you're good.
Okay. Paula, do me a favor, because I'm not able to hear you that clearly. I'm going to put some headphones on. Say it again, please.
Sure. In relation to the S words specifically, there were 2 questions there. Could you explain a little bit more on the S process? And then, are the S words only words, or can they be short phrases? Can you give a sample?
Yeah, let's do the second question first. Yes, absolutely, they can be phrases. I've even had clients that were initially, coming up with very close to a sentence as a strength about their business. But yes, longer lasting is a great phrase. Been in business for 15 years, been in business for 5 years. That's a phrase. It's also a strength. So yes, you can use multiple words as an S statement. Absolutely. Now, other versions of strength words. If you're starting your business and have it as a concept, there must be something about that business that you want to start that gives you encouragement that it will succeed. In order for it to succeed, it must have some competitive strengths to it. Listen, marketing place is an S word, okay? If you're going to do a car wash and you're going through the library and looking at the geographic areas where car washes currently exist, and you find, an area in and around Venice that hasn't got a quality car wash in it. I'm making all this up, but you've got a location strength. As long as you're talking to people in that area, because now you're offering a service, quality car wash, where none existed before, That's a huge S for you. I hope that was a good example. If your business is a product and it might be something that allows you to sell it and install it in the home of the audience, if it's a business or a residential home, that would be a huge S word. That it's convenient that you can not only buy the product but have a quality inspection done so that it works the way it's been designed to work by a trained person. So I hope those are some improv ways of explaining S words.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Jack. And then the next question is, with respect to larger companies like Walmart or eBay, do they try to come up with a more general message, or do companies like that actually segment all three categories and have different messages?
The categories are being who we are, what we do, and what's important, or the PIE categories.
I believe he was talking about the PIE categories.
So Walmart. Trying to think of an example where PIE works. Well, no. It's think of all the products that are being sold at Walmart. Every one of them has their own. I wouldn't say unique, but it has their own special PIE that involves with the shopper coming into Walmart. Why did they pick Walmart? That there may be an interesting question. Well, there was a Target just down the street. Why did they pick Walmart? That would be a critically important thing for the Walmart marketing department to know. What is it about us that makes you attracted to us versus the competition? But if you're Walmart and you're selling this category of products, basically, people are coming to Walmart for a wide variety of things that are available at a reasonable price. I don't know if that's the answer that they're asking for. I hope it is.
And then the final question is with respect to utilization of focus groups and surveys as a way to do market research.
Absolutely. I love that question because the idea, it's very important that we understand what each of those things does for you. They are paid services. You're going to hire, unless you're an exceptional person, most people cannot do a focus group. Most people who are starting a business are not really qualified. I think that's a fair and honest term, qualified to manage and lead a focus group. There are people that do that for a business. The information that you want to get out of a focus group is going to be it's by definition a small group of people talking about your business and how they feel about your business. Focus groups are meant to get insights into your business and to the way they buy the products that your business represents. In-depth information from people who actually can walk the talk and talk about it knowingly. They've been pre-approved and qualified to be able to go into the focus group for your business. They shop the category of products or services that you represent. So using a focus group is a great way to kind of understand how they think and how they operate. The qualifier to focus groups, 6 people is not Sarasota. So the information coming out of a focus group is insightful information that has to be further researched to determine, is this reflective of a larger population of potential customers? The other thing you said, Paula, was a survey?
Correct.
Survey. You buy surveys, you can conduct surveys. You might be able to do them on your own. You can survey your friends and family and people that you can ask for their time. That's a good way to get into the survey business, is collect information from people who are willing to give you the time to think about and answer the questions you're asking them. From there, you want to go to a larger group. And a survey can get you large numbers of people, but in that case, you're probably going to be buying a service that's got the resources to be able to collect that volume of information from that population, a large population of people. It's extremely valuable information, and that should allow you to feel a little bit more comfortable about the idea of paying for it. But a survey handles large numbers, focus groups handle small numbers. They're very different.
Hey, Jack, one final question. SWOT analysis and PIE. Question is, should they do that for each customer segment, such as customers and commercial accounts?
customers and commercial accounts. Yes, those are two different markets. If you're in a business that's going to be selling, I'm quickly coming up with lawn care. You may be selling to homeowners your lawn care business. Why shouldn't you also be selling that service to businesses that operate in buildings that need that same kind of universities and their campus and buildings with multiple building campuses? People need lawn care to beautify the area around their buildings. So that's a different target audience. So those are very different purchasers, but they're very important if your business encourages you to go after both. You might make a decision about which of the two is more important to you in the short run, because they're challenging to do them both at the same time because your communications are split. And so you've got to find some way to manage that. Best thing to do is walk into one of them, pick your priority, go after that, and then have it as your year 2 plan to expand into this other target market. I hope that helped.
Yes, thank you, Jack. And then finally, just want to give folks, additional information here on the upcoming sessions that we have. And please don't forget, this isn't the last episode. If you want to have contact with Jack or other mentors within the Minnesota SCORE or SCORE near you, please contact us. We're happy to set up time and really develop that piece for you in terms of getting a SCORE mentor for yourself and really looking at your specific needs for your business. We want to thank you all for coming and certainly, look forward to seeing you all in the next episode of our 4-part marketing series. Thank you guys so much.